Welcome, fight fans, to the Pugilist Place. I'm Lawrence Mejia. Thank you so much for being here with us. Today, we are lucky to be here with Richard Cool Breeze Brewart Jr., undefeated boxer out of Rancho Cucamonga. How are you, Richard?
I'm good. Just getting through COVID, getting just training every day, and that's just really it. Training, and that's it.
Happy New Year. The first thing I want to ask is, when is the deadline on wishing somebody a Happy New Year? Is it like a couple weeks into the new year? Is it like past a month? What's the deadline?
I mean, I would say the first month because we're in January still. It's the first month in the year. Once we pass the first month, it's like, all right, we're everybody's kicked in. Everybody knows what's going on.
Move on, right?
Yeah,
So, Richard, it's no surprise to anybody that a lot of Americans wanted to bring 2020 to a quick close. You brought your 2020 boxing campaign to an emphatic close with a dramatic second round knockout last December. Take us back to that action packed night on December 20th in your last fight.
man, that was a. Hell, I knew that was gonna be a tough fight. It was a tough. I fought a tough opponent. That was another undefeated guy. He was 8-0 at the time. Um, I seen a little bit of video on him. There wasn't too much, so I knew he was gonna be kind of a wild guy, but I knew he was gonna be tough. He was strong, definitely strong. He caught me in the first round and with the body shot, and I tried to take it and I backed him to the ropes and he was throwing just wild shots, so he was catching me a little bit. But I took the knee, I got up, recovered, and then the next round I came out, started outboxing him, and I caught him with the picture perfect straight right hand.
And as you mentioned, he's an undefeated guy. He's Luis Hernandez. He was somebody that worked with Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah. So the lead up to the fight, his people were talking a lot of smack about me. And then he started posting videos saying, "Oh, I'm gonna show you what Roy Jones Jr. taught me," all kinds of crazy stuff. And it was just like I knew right then and there, I knew to kind of expect something. He was gonna try to fight like a Roy Jones Jr. I already knew he was trying to be a Roy Jones Jr. wannabe, so I knew he was gonna try to fight with his hands everywhere, try to do some weird movements and all that. So I knew what to expect, but then it's completely different once you get in the ring though. You just got to be really cautious. The first round, you always want to see what they're gonna give, so you just have no clue, honestly.
And as you mentioned, he did look a lot like Roy, like as far as like his posturing and the way he held his hands and his movement. It looked like he was imitating a lot of what Roy used to do or trying to.
Yeah, he was awkward. He was an awkward guy, but he when he knocked me down, it was more of a I got caught with a shot that I didn't expect because nobody throws a body shot the way he did. Like he threw a jab in the right hand, and then out of nowhere from the outside he threw this wild body shot that caught me when I wasn't expecting it. It took my air, so I just had to recover. And then the second round, I already knew, all right, I just need to get behind my jab, and that was what took me to where I got that knockout was my jab early.
When he hit you with that blow to the body, how hurt were you?
Oh, I was no that body shot hurt me like big time. It took my air. It was one of those body shots where I was like, man, like I hadn't been hitting like that in years, and I was like, all right, when he caught me and he took my air, it was just like, all right, I just needed to recover. It kind of flustered me for a second. Like I never been dropped like that, especially in a pro fight. It was like it was new, something new. Obviously, when the referee was counting, it was like, well, what am I doing here? This isn't supposed to be happening right now. But I just heard my corner telling me to relax, that I'd be good, move around and be smart and just recover. And the next round, we'll go out and see what we can do.
So was that your first time being knocked down professionally?
Yeah, yeah, that was.
And so Henry just told you he like to get your composure. What was going through your mind at that moment? Like you mentioned, you're like, whoa, this is not part of the game plan. What were some of the other fleeting things going through your brain as the action was unfolding?
It was really like, I really can't. I just remember the referee counting, and I was like, well, what just happened right now? I was like, dang, this happens. It happened so quick that it was like a snap of a finger. You don't really have time to think. It's you recover and you're right back at it. You're thinking about, all right, once I get up, is he gonna come crazy? What am I gonna do? Just tie him up or what? I just in my head, I was just thinking, get back to the jab, stay on the outside, don't get no wild exchanges.
And you definitely showed your pedigree immediately after that knockdown. You almost immediately after that, you looked like you reasserted control of the fight, and in doing so, you really were enabled yourself to turn the tables in the next round.
Yeah.
You turned the tables with just a devastating right hand. Did you know, or have you known it throughout your career, that you just have a potent, heavy, destructive right hand?
Honestly, I didn't know until I say about a year and a half ago. I had got a one punch knockout with my right hand. And then the same thing again with this one. It was literally, I threw a jab hook in the right hand. The jab and the hook didn't even land. It was just the right hand that landed. It was just a setup, and that right hand literally just took everything from him. But I've never known that I knew I had a sharp right hand, but I didn't know that the power was like, I had that kind of power behind it.
Because it not only this fight, but then you had the fight with Abel Reyes where it was just like a
Yeah.
viral thing, that knockout.
I'm
And
surprised this one was like, this one kind of went out there too, because the way he went down and everything, he got back up. He was that guy. He was hurt bad. That right hand just took everything from him. But I never knew I had that type of power behind it.
right, and all, the truth of the matter is that no athlete or no fighter can improve without a little bit of resistance. So I mean, you showed a lot of your gumption in that fight, facing pressure, battling back from it, and then obviously getting the dramatic second round knockout. Uh, I'm not trying to be corny here, but you are really creating a greatest hits with all of your knockouts. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Um, and so, in light of the knockdown, are there any changes that you have to make going forward?
It's just more of tightening up on my defense, honestly. Um, on the night of the fight, I was sharp. I have no excuses. I was 100% ready. There was nothing. I wasn't injured. I was nothing to where when I got hit that I was hurt or nothing. No, I was ready for that fight. He just caught me with the off balance shot, and my defense wasn't tight to the body because I wasn't expecting that body shot. Just need to work on covering my body a lot better, and that's like a main focus.
So, take us back a little bit to the back and forth between you and your opponent. How did that talking get started?
Okay, so me and him were supposed to fight originally November 1st. And like a week and a half out from the fight, I had got really sick. I had bronchitis, and because of the bronchitis, it made my asthma act back up. I was in bed for like a week. I honestly thought I had COVID because of how sick I got, but I did multiple tests and I never had it. Nothing, everything came back negative. They told me that I was at the point that I was literally touching having walking pneumonia. They were like, dude, you're really bad. Like, they didn't even know how I was working out, sparring. The doctors were like, dude, you're crazy. Like, how are you even going through all this right now with the way your body is? And as a fighter, you just learn to work through things. But at that point, I told Henry, I was like, I think we just need to postpone the fight to December if we can. Talk to Alex over there at Thompson. And sure enough, they got it postponed to December. So when they postponed it to December, that guy Luis Hernandez, he started posting on Facebook and Instagram stuff saying, "Oh, don't pull out, Richard, blah blah, because of you being sick this time." And then his people started. I posted a video back saying, "Don't worry about me, just worry about what you got coming December 20th." And all of a sudden, his people started retweeting my post, sharing it on Facebook, saying, "Oh, this guy's slow. He could barely punch. He all kinds of wild stuff." And I didn't really say too much. I posted little things here and there, but I never posted like talking to anybody. Me and him kind of went back and forth on the Thompson page on one of his videos, and then all my people and his people were just going back and forth. But it originally started with his people, and then about a week and a half out from the fight, all of a sudden they started deleting everything and all that, and I was like, "And you guys were talking all that smack. Now you guys want to act like nothing was ever said." Like, and then I seen him when he flew in. I seen him when we checked into the hotel, and he was trying to be cool. He tried to walk by and say what's up to me and stuff, and I was just like, man, you guys are talking all this smack. Now you want to be cool, but it happens. I guess it's a sport. After the fight, we showed our respect, and that was just it.
Was that the first time professionally that you kind of jogged back and forth with an opponent?
Yeah, that was the first time. Maybe because I mean, yeah, definitely the first time. Probably because I stepped up in class. You know, I fought a lot better guy than what I was fighting before. I fought tough guys, but it was nobody that was ever on any type of social media and anything. This guy was actually on his stuff, posting about me, posting about our fight. So he got it started, and I just went with it.
And ended it. I remember talking to you and you telling me that you don't want to fight angry. Did the trash talking change the way that you prepared for this fight?
No, honestly, not at all. I train hard no matter what fight it is. It doesn't matter if you're talking smack, you're my friend, we talked before, we're cool. Once we fighting, once we get in the ring, it all comes out there. Who's more ready and who's not, who worked harder and who didn't. So at the end of the day, I train the same for every fight, 100%, 110%, 120%. I train as hard as I can, no matter what, to be ready for whoever comes.
For us on the outside of the sport or on the outside of boxing, we've heard about the difficulties that it's been, or how difficult it's been for boxers to train and box during the pandemic. Take us on the inside. Tell us what it's like, what it's been like for you to train and to fight during the era of COVID-19.
It has been hard training because, I mean, obviously with COVID, nobody wants to just get it. Like that's just, and then because I take care of my uncle for a living, he's in a wheelchair, he has a disability. His immune system isn't as strong as the average. So if I get it, I can transmit it to him. So when I go to the gym, I try to go to the gym when there's barely anybody there. I try to tell Henry, hey, let's go a little bit early. I don't want to be around everybody. And there's barely anybody in there as it is. It's pretty much all the pros. And there'll be like a couple amateurs in there just working out because I know they're getting ready for a tournament. But it's been hard sparring. For that last fight, I was only sparring like two guys, Jesse Lobito Gonzalez and another guy named Rowdy. They were my main guys getting ready for that fight. I sparred with Marky a couple times, Marcos Hernandez. I only sparred him a couple times because he was getting ready for James Kirkland at the time, so he needed left-handed sparring. Yeah, but my main guys were Jesse and Rowdy. That's all I had. So they were the ones pushing me through my rounds. So it's very limited right now on who you can use for sparring, who's in the gym. You got to be careful with who's in the gym. You just can't have anybody in there because a lot of people just try to come and watch and stuff. Or like, man, I can't be around these people. So because I get with Thompson, they COVID test us about 3 to 4 weeks out. They start COVID testing us once a week. So obviously we're getting checked numerous times before the fight even comes. But once we get to the fight, we get checked right there as soon as we check into the hotel. You can't leave your hotel room, and that's it. Until the fight, you're literally stuck in your hotel room until the fight.
And that's very mature of you, Pete, not only for the health of your family and your uncle, but also you're in this weird situation where you never know when an opportunity could come up on wherever for you to fill in for another fighter, or if you're not careful and then you contract COVID and all of a sudden that your fight falls through. So you're walking this tightrope during the pandemic, and so good for you for looking out for your career and trying to keep your fights on schedule. So somebody very close to you, Henry, contracted a severe bout of COVID over the summer. What was that like to for somebody that's been such a part of your life and has overseen your career for so many years? What was it? How did you experience that, Henry fighting COVID?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was tough because he's the main guy at the gym. He's the one that makes sure I'm ready to go. He's the one that's training me. So there was no gym. There was no training. I actually stayed away from the gym for a couple months just because I was like, you know what? I need to stay away because I have my uncle. I cannot chance getting sick at all. It was just like, so once I went back to the gym, it was like super skeptical. Everybody making sure they got their mask on and all that. It's hard for us to train and have masks on too. It's not like, so the guys that are training, we really don't wear masks because it's hard to breathe, like through the mask and all that. Our faces are getting hot. It's like, so everybody else that's in the gym, we always making sure like, make sure you have your mask on if you ain't working out or anything, because ain't nobody trying to get sick in there. It's just like, we had Henry get in, and we had another fighter of ours that had got it, but ever since then, everything's been good, and that was last year in June, and we haven't had no other hiccups or anything in the gym at all. Everybody's been cleared.
Good. And so I want to go back to the Thompson. So all these different promotional companies have their own bubbles. Like you got the Top Rank bubble, which has been publicized a lot about, and then you have Matchroom and Golden Boy and what they're doing at Fantasy Springs. but Thompson, which is a smaller promotional outfit, but renowned nonetheless, they've created their own bubble. Talk to us about what it was like fighting in the Thompson bubble.
It's cool. I mean, it's definitely different. No fans. It changed the whole thing. I remember when I knocked the guy out, I jumped on the ropes and then I was like looking around, like I was like, hold up, there ain't no fans right now. Like I can't do this right now. This ain't it's not the same. But I mean, it really doesn't change too much. I mean, everybody there gets tested and everything. So once you're in the ring and everything, it feels like another fight, but obviously without a fan. But I mean, it's crazy. Our locker rooms aren't the same in the back. Literally, there was literally a tarp separating me and my opponent when we're warming up and wrapping up and everything. So when I was working pads with Henry, they were literally sitting there watching me work pads. I mean, that doesn't really matter. I'm not worried about. You could look good on the pads and look not be the same fighter in the ring. So it's like you can never judge a book by its cover. Really, comes out to that.
I would imagine that like come fight time that you kind of go into your own little solitary place. So you kind of going into isolation at a hotel probably isn't that big of a change. But what a lot of people don't understand is, you know, unless you're like an elite or like a world champion and you're used to fighting in these arenas with 15, 20,000 people, um, they experience the lack of having a crowd. But you guys too, fighting for Thompson, you fought most of your career with Thompson, and the ballroom at the DoubleTree in Ontario, they routinely sell tickets in the number of thousands. So you're fighting in front of huge audiences. It's not like you're there at a big fight card in Vegas, like at 3 o'clock before the main event. You're fighting in front of big crowds. So like, you're probably affected in a similar way as somebody who's a little bit down the road from you in terms of career.
Yeah, it's definitely different because pretty much every time I fought, that place would always sell out. I saw a lot of tickets myself, but there would be a lot of people that would come from around because I literally lived like 10, 15 minutes from the DoubleTree. The DoubleTree is literally my area. This is where I grew up. So everybody from around the areas would come and watch me because I'm the one growing up around here. So they want to see me coming up.
Absolutely. And anybody that's covered your career knows that, you bring Rancho to the DoubleTree and you definitely sell tickets. Your nickname, Cool Breeze. Tell us the meaning behind it.
One of the kids actually gave it to me at the gym. I can't remember when it was. It was a while back. It was just, I guess it came off of just how I am with people. I'm just relaxed, calm. Same thing when I fight. Relaxed, calm person, slick fighter. I mean, I'm not super slick, but my movement, my timing, everything behind me is what probably gave me my nickname. Just because I'm very artistic when it comes to the ring. I'm very textbook. Everything is off my jab and I'm a thinking fighter 24/7, always thinking about what I could set up and what I could do next after I finish the shot or where I can move and what's gonna hit here and what's gonna hit there. So that's probably where it came from because I'm just really collected and yeah, I figured that's where it would come from. But I remember one of the kids gave it to me actually that go in the afternoon to ring cross.
And it's very fitting, not only in your personal demeanor, but also the way you, like you said, the way you fight in the ring. If anybody's followed your career, they know that you are known for your ring walks to old school West Coast rap. And like, you're a young man, and so a lot of times you're coming out. A lot of fighters like to come out to Nipsey, they like to come out to newer stuff. But I remember the first time I seen you fight at the DoubleTree. I'm sitting there, and then you walk out, and it's like West Side Connection, and I'm like, whoa, what's this all about? So where does your love of that genre of music come from?
I grew up listening to it. My dad listens to all that type of music since I was a kid. So I've always listened to it till this day. I listen to that more than I listen to new music, to be honest. I don't really listen. I listen to the new stuff, but I'm more into the old school West Coast rap. I mean, and it goes with the fight. Like it gets you pumped up when you're walking out. The crowd, everybody knows it. Everybody knows old school West Coast rap. Like it doesn't matter what it is. If it's a song that's old school, everybody knows it. So it gets the crowd going. It's just it's just my routine. I always walk out to literally every fight. I would think I've walked out to something that's an old school West Coast rap. So
Do you have any like a favorite artist, old school artist?
Tupac, that's I walked out to like 3 or 4 of his songs already.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. I walked out to actually, yeah, like three, and I walked out to a couple other artists, but my main one would be Tupac.
I know that people of my generation, we appreciate that. We appreciate that. I like because man, you got some taste in music there.
Yeah.
Richard, we find ourselves once again at the beginning of a new year, 2021. What can we expect from you in this upcoming year?
Um, Hopefully just a few more wins, keep the undefeated record. I know we're looking at some TV time, maybe mid to end of the year for sure, from what I've heard from Thompson and Henry has directed me that they have told him. So I know we're looking at some TV time, which I'm excited for. I'm ready to make my TV debut. Maybe a showbox card or the NBC sports card that they were having over at Wildcard that they've been doing.
Ring
On one of
City.
those cards. So yeah, Ring City. Um, and I'm actually in camp right now. I can't say the date, but I'm actually getting ready for February. That's just all I can say is February, so next month.
Okay. Okay. So we can look forward to maybe, possibly, hopefully seeing you back in the ring in February.
Yeah,
That's
no,
exciting.
I'm gonna be back in February. I'll be
Okay,
back in
for sure that month.
I say the exact date yet.
Gotcha. And that's exciting where we followed your career and you've just done nothing but ascend. And we wish the best for you. And we'll, and root for you along the way. Richard, as always, we're genuinely appreciative of your time. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you back in there. Take care.
Thank you.